Hey guys, Jason here. Welcome back to the channel and welcome to another video. Today we are going to do something that I'd kind of mentioned in one of the earlier videos of my Losi 5B, and that is I'm going to remove the center diff, and I'm going to remove, which if I remember correctly, guys, there's I think 13,000 weight diff oil in there, which obviously for a guy like me and for a lot of you watching this video, if you guys are bashers, if you're into the X-maxx, Crate 8S, all those type of rigs, you know we like thick fluids. We like thick diff fluids. That's how we get our I'm going to use the word posi, which seems kind of old, but basically gets us more of an even kind of transfer of power from the front and the rear. I am not decided yet if I'm going to go 20 million or 1 million. I'm not sure yet, but anything over 13,000 is going to be a huge difference. As well as I am going to change the pinion. I think I'm going up to an 18 tooth, which I don't know. We'll see how that goes. But anyways, I'm not going to make you guys sit through all like the removal and all that kind of stuff. I'm just going to get into it so I can get this thing done so we can get out and run. All right, here we are. Guys, I went ahead and did the 1 million. I didn't go all the way up to 20. What I did here was I put in the one gear first. I cleaned everything off, took it all apart, put in the one gear, dropped in a good portion of the 1 million, put the rest of the gears in, kind of mixed around a little bit. And then I actually put the whole diff back together, kind of worked it a few times, let it sit. I pulled this back off again, and I could see where there's still, you know, because 1 million is so thick, you don't really notice it kind of settle when you're first putting it together. So I added some more 1 million, and this time, guys, I'm just going to let it sit like that. It should cover all the planetary gears and all that kind of stuff. So I'm going to let it sit, and then I'll get it back together. And then I'm kind of debating to leave the 16 tooth in there right now and try the diff oil, like upgrading, obviously, guys, are to the 1 million, or just going straight to that 18 tooth. I'm thinking I'm going to go straight to the 18 tooth and just really monitor the temps. I know in the past I have done, I think it was in a DBXLE, I did an 18 tooth 800 kV motor, and it did not work out the greatest. So we'll see. But anyways, what I'm going to do now, guys, for you, it's going to be a couple of seconds. For me, it's going to be a bit. I'm going to let this settle. All right, guys, from the footage you just watched seconds ago, it's actually about a week later. I had pulled the diff and I had filled up the fluid and done all that. And then I actually had set the diff off to the side just so I could let the oil sit, let it be level, and just really see what the levels are at before I put it back together. I didn't need to let it sit as long as I did. It's probably been almost a week. It just other things came up and other things I was working on, so this thing kind of just sat off to the side. However, diff fluid is good to go. So as I mentioned earlier, we've gone from what I think stock was 13,000 to running 1 million, and we also went from a 16 tooth pinion to an 18 tooth pinion. My issue today is going to be this. If you've watched any of the videos I've done lately, the laser nut and the rift, I was talking about how it was kind of rainy and how it's been kind of cool and a little bit gloomy. Today, though, guys, log into this to show you. Today's weather, 25 degrees Celsius, feels like 34, and oh yeah, we're under a tornado watch. So this is obviously not the ideal day to do, you know, kind of a testing / speed run of a new setup, because it's going to be hard to really gauge the temps with it being so hot outside. It's going to help. Obviously, it's going to pull some of the heat off, but it's not really, without a fan, it's not going to really dissipate it much better. I do have this upgraded fan on my XL2. I'm going to add, guys, here something. I am not a huge having to install a fan type person. And what I mean by that is I always feel like I'll add, you know, fans or add aftermarket fans just to aid in keeping the components even cooler. I've never installed them to actually keep a vehicle running. I think that's a little bit extreme. I think that's just, you know, kind of taking your electronics to a little bit of, you know, too hardcore of a level. And it's just not something I'm into. So, you know, when I get out today, I'm going to run it. This could end up being a really short run. If I get out and I'm, you know, a minute into it and I feel the motor and the motor's already hot, you know what? I'll be shutting it down and bringing the car home. We're going to be doing that quite a bit. I'm going to be checking the motor quite a bit in the video because, again, I obviously don't want to ruin this. This motor is about a year old now. But anyways, guys, I've rambled on long enough. We are going to head out and we're going to give this thing a run and I'm hoping, guys, that the Diff mod, so going from that 13,000 to the 1 million, makes this thing a lot more fun. But anyways, let's head outside. All right, guys, we're here. We're at my usual spot. What we're gonna do is get this thing out on the road and hook up the GPS and get a couple of speed runs in. It'll kind of be, I guess, a bit of a benchmark, you know, for future mods, more or lessly future ESCs. If you guys don't know already, the Castle 800 kV I think is good till 12 or 13s, so that's why you'll see this motor in a lot of, you know, Losi 5Ts, 5Bs. They're just running a 12S ESC versus the XL2, which is only 8S. But anyways, let's get out there and give this thing a speed. So guys, that was full out. I'm not gonna give it another pass. There's no point. You could tell there was nothing left there to give. What we're gonna do is we're gonna get it back on the tailgate, and I'm just curious to see what I got. You know, one thing I will say, I don't know if it's coming across on video, but man, this thing is just gorgeous to look at. It looks so good driving around, that, you know, even though I know it's not the fastest and it's going to take some money to make it the fastest, or just to even actually get it fast, it just looks so good. Anyways, I'm going to get on the tailgate and we're going to check it out. All right, guys, obviously after that one quick pass, there's obviously no heat issues going on whatsoever. So what we're gonna do though is let's see how we did. Hopefully you guys can see that. Hey, 50 miles an hour. You know what? It's funny because 50 miles an hour is pretty quick. When I was driving some of my other trucks, especially like the Haas and stuff, 50 miles an hour felt like insane. On this big guy, yeah, let's face it, it just doesn't feel the same. It's a lot bigger of a vehicle. It needs to have more speed. But anyways, guys, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna rip this thing around. It looks like they cut the grass, which is kind of nice. So I'm just gonna bond this thing around out there for a bit. I'm gonna keep checking the temp, so I'm gonna keep bringing it in, feeling the motor and see how it is. But we're gonna get a little bit of running footage out of this bad boy. Crazy, guys, is even as it slides, it still just sticks to the ground. So guys, I just brought it in again, just to put my fingers on the motor. Still nothing. Still good to go. Barely any warmth whatsoever, which I'm really surprised at. I mean, I know I haven't been driving it long, but I just based on vehicles from the past, I just know running a somewhat similar setup in a vehicle, I cooked a motor pretty quick, so it's moving pretty good. It's crazy how good it drives though. Zoom. Like if I had, you know, a set of like mini MX or hostile MXs on here so that it could really hook up in the grass, even though it would get rid of that, which is a lot of fun because it handles so well right now and you can really throw it around, and like you've seen, it has not tipped yet. Wah! Lay. Let's just bring it in. You're gonna get a lot of this, guys, today. Okay, so we've definitely got some warmth now. Nothing crazy, but you can tell it's getting up there. Oh, the batteries. Batteries are fine. But what I'm gonna do, guys, is I'm not gonna do a ton more running. I have not ran for all that long, and like I said, I now have some heat going on in here. I mean, I can keep my hand on it, but I haven't been running it all that long. And I know that if I lose that train of thought right now, if I just kind of start ripping it around and start trying to enjoy it, I'm gonna forget and I'm gonna end up cooking the motor and I'm not gonna be happy. So what I'm gonna do now, guys, is I'm actually just gonna get the truck back on the tailgate, and yeah, I just don't want to destroy this thing yet. Well, no, remove the word yet. I do not want to destroy it at all. But it does look. I'd be curious now, and I know I'm going to contradict what I just said. I'd be curious now if, you know, if I had a good fan on that motor and it wasn't the temperature that it's at right now out here, how this would run. Because to be fair, I'm kind of enjoying it. Yeah, it could be, you know, it could be more powerful, but I actually am having some fun ripping it around. And if I was on something with a little bit more meat of, you know, a set of tires type thing, I think I'd be enjoying it. Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to, time will tell. Anyways, let's get this thing back on the tailgate. All right, guys, we made it home. The 5 is back on the bench. And what can I say, guys? Today was fun. It was more fun than I thought. I know that might sound kind of weird, but, you know, when I was doing the diff and I was doing the pinion, I was, you know, hoping that it was going to make an improvement. I really wasn't sure how much it was going to and if it was really going to matter. But I did enjoy it. It was a lot more fun today. I had a lot of fun, you know, kind of throwing it around. It had some speed. If I probably was on a better set of tires for the grass, it probably would have felt even quicker because it would have hooked up a lot better instead of spinning and stuff like that. Even though I think I mentioned in the video, guys, it is a lot of fun to kind of throw this thing around. So that's one advantage to running tires like that, is that you can really, you know, kind of spin and hammer your throttle and kind of throw it around, which is fun to do. And I do enjoy doing that. Where I'm at now is I don't think I'm going to do much more with it. I'm going to change up the diff fluids in the front and the rear diff. But as for this system, guys, this motor and ESC, the motor came out of the Kraton 8S. I bought this new for this thing, but because I'm not blown away and because this is not giving me the performance that I really want out of this buggy, this whole combo is going to go back into the Kraton 8S, and I'm going to save my pennies throughout the winter and pick up something 12S because it is fun, and I had fun today. And you know, if I knew temp wise, guys, I could run this setup all day and not have any issues. I probably would be okay with it, but since I know I could feel the motor, I knew it was getting warmer. It was not, you know, this was not going to cut it. The pinion, everything was not going to cut it, and I knew I would probably end up having issues. So I'm going to just do the right thing, the expensive thing, and like I said, save up and drop something like a 12S in it. But one thing, guys, I'm going to say, this thing was a lot of fun to drive today. It looks so good driving around. It handles amazing. And it's just really, guys, honestly, a pleasure to drive. You know, we all know that the Losi 5 platform in general, you know, it's Losi's platform. And if you guys don't know what I mean by that is some other, and I don't want to pick them apart right now, but some other vehicles that Losi makes, they're not true Losis. They're bought from other companies. Losi changes up a few things, you know, changes up a couple of parts, and then they put it out there as a Losi. The 5T and the 5B are none of those. They are true Losis. They're built from the ground up, and they're built basically from their smaller, their 8 scale kind of platforms. They just take that setup and they make it big, and that's what the Losi 5B is. And yes, it's awesome. I'm not trying to sound like a, I don't know what not selfish. I don't know what the word is, but I really enjoyed it today, and this thing is a pleasure to drive. But anyways, guys, I've rambled on long enough. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give me a thumbs up, please subscribe, and enjoy the pics.